Like Trump's bombing on Christmas Day in Sokoto State, there will be casualties by the time the dust raised by Peter Obi settles. Now, one such casualty is Tinubu, of course.
Should Peter Obi lose the primaries, will the Obidients support Atiku? Obidients will not support Atiku. Obidients will not support Atiku. Let me be very blunt.
We remain resolute in our candidacy through you, and that the indefatigable human pillar of the new Nigeria that is possible.
Either the Obidients or, their followers saying that if you don't, if he doesn't get, Peter Obi does not get the presidential ticket, they wouldn't support the party now, they should calm down.
If anybody is capitalizing on what happened in 2023 and calculating that if they put Atiku vote and put Obi vote, they're going to beat APC, it's just like the person is building castle in the air.
Do you remember that prior to the 2023 general election, was Peter Obi having anybody by his side? Obviously, no. What he was having is, the way they say, is only 4 people that were going around in the corner of their room mobilizing. Yet it produces the vice president that you just mentioned, Madam Deti Baba Ahmed. It produces Alex Oti that you are just talking about, who became the governor of Abia State. It produces many members of the Federal House of Representatives.
There's this thing that a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say that, Atiku cannot, that Peter Obi cannot defeat Atiku. Where did that come from? Where is that coming from? There's nothing like that.
Welcome to Rethink Nigeria. APCs are scared. APC people don't they fear now. In fact, they're the jittery, like as I tell you, they fear like mad because the movement of P2B to ADC is a problem for them. They give them headache when we say they cannot, in fact, they don't get medicine when we say they go take calm and down, no Panadol to calm and down. I tell you, see, P2B is a movement. It's a movement. You need to hear what people they talk about P2B. You need to come here. This video you go see a lot of, you go hear a lot of, you go see a lot of things when people they talk about P2B. You see, for P2B to join or to, join ADC officially, not be small thing. Now make all waiting APC that they talked before now make P2B make come up for Labour Party because they know that they already have Labour Party in their palm like this because they know say they go scatter Labour Party so that P2B no go get to where you go take context so that no go get mouth. Now for P2B to come move now officially to ADC, they give their headache. They no fit sleep. They no fit sleep. They can't sleep. How do you expect them to sleep? Because a political party just moved to another political party because P2B with the Obidients movement is one political party. They said only 4 people were tweeting in a room. They saw what happened. Now, come to think of it, P2B and Atiku now joining together. Some people go say, that is not going to work like that in 2027, but more could see what will happen. So I beg, inside this video, you will hear a lot of things because some people don't call out political tsunami that's about to happen. Oh my God. But one thing now, when some people now they talk about again is, will P2B actually win the primary? Because some people don't tag the ADC as Atiku-led ADC, but I believe ADC is not going to play by that rule. They will follow the normal procedure because some people don't want P2B. We don't want you as a second man. Like me too. I don't want P2B as a second man. If you know you did not win the presidential ticket, the primary, I beg, go one corner, go they relax or travel out, just like one of my brother talk for this video. Say travel out, go they take pop, go they eat popcorn, make they watch it till they happen for Nigeria. So it is better that way than for you to be a vice. So we don't want you to be a vice. And if ADC make that mistake to give that ticket to another person, ADC will lose. That one sure. Because P2B now make APC dey fear. Left for Atiku alone, APC no go fear anything. They no go fear ADC. So abeg watch this video make you get a lot of things wey be say a lot of people don talk about P2B and the coming election and how this 2026 go take be. Watch the video. I dey come back.
On New Year Eve, while the majority of Nigerians were counting down to midnight, a political decision quietly detonated in Enugu, sending shockwaves to President Tinubu and into Nigeria's politics. Like Trump's bombing on Christmas Day in Sokoto State, there will be casualties by the time the dust raised by Peter Obi settles. Now, one such casualty is Tinubu, of course. Peter Obi is said to make it impossible for Tinubu to contest in the 2027 presidential election. Listen, I will explain down the video. Just follow me. You see, Peter Obi formally joined the African Democratic Congress, ADC, after weeks of speculation in newspapers and the social media. You see, this wasn't one of the routine defections that we have been reading about in the newspapers recently. This was the migration of an entire political movement, an exodus, if you like. The entire Obidient movement, the bulk of public office holders who were elected on the platform of the Labour Party, PO's campaign structures, and his youth machinery across the country all moved with him at once. Now, in the midst of many personalities present at the Enugu event, personalities with various past and present heavy titles, Obi's introduction was greeted with the loudest ovation, even though he was ushered to his feet simply as Mr. Peter Obi. I liked that part. I did. You see, those familiar with this channel know that I am an unapologetic supporter of Peter Obi for the president of Nigeria. I am, I have been, and will continue to be until that man becomes president. Now, whatever platform Obi runs on, he has my total support. You see, my principled support for this man is based on values that we both share: humility, truth, honesty, integrity. 4 vital words by which I assess every human being I come across. I don't care about their wealth. I don't care about their titles. These are the values I live by, and I see them shine brilliantly in Peter Gregory Obi. In practical terms, the ADC has acquired the following, and I will list them. Number 1, national relevance. National relevance. At last. You see, Peter Obi is like a sweet perfume. Wherever he shows up, next turn in his direction. Number 2, the ADC has acquired the electoral infrastructures that forced INEC to allocate more than 6 million votes to Obi in the rigged 2023 election. Number 3, the ADC has acquired sudden media dominance. News hounds follow Obi wherever he appears. Listen to me, Obi's shadow, even Obi's shadow makes news. Number 4, the ADC has acquired a ready-made voter base from Peter Obi. Yes. There is no way the ADC could have acquired this sudden transformation organically. Obviously, this has happened after secret negotiations are taking place behind closed doors. You know what? Peter Obi is a shrewd player. For several months, the ADC has stalled as it awaited this epochal declaration by Peter Obi. As it were, the ADC has been unable to move forward without PO on board. Finally, the ADC is now the main opposition platform in this country. It has suddenly become a magnet for other defectors. This is a tsunami. This political tsunami that happened on New Year's Eve throws up an urgent question. Will Peter Obi win the ADC presidential ticket?
There's this thing that a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, Atiku cannot, that Peter Obi cannot defeat Atiku. Where did that come from? Where is that coming from? There's nothing like that. You understand? One of the things, if you've not followed Mr. Peter Obi, it's how most times he's underrated, but he comes out, hey, you come out to shock you and surprise you. And if at that point, you remember what Fayoshe said about him, that's who he is. He never goes away. He's the kind of person that you think that, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's very strategic. Wherever you see, it might look as if he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. But he's really doing a lot. I don't know what's that thing that they say at the top. You see very calm. Is he a swan or something? I think it's a swan or a duck, or I can't remember one of them, but you see them on the top, they're just gliding as if they are just, stationary. But at the bottom, you see their legs are flapping, and that's the way, it flats on to go. So this whole thing, I see people who are talking about the fact that, oh, Atiku already has the ADC ticket. I see a lot of Tinubu's men coming out to drive that narrative, and I'm sure they are the ones driving that narrative with media so as to discourage people, and so Obidients will be discouraged, Nigerians will be discouraged. There's nothing like that. The ADC is an open place for everyone, and I can tell you this right now, they're doing a lot. Join the party. This is the time for you, even as a new politician, as someone who has never been in party, to actually get in and put your feet right there and be in a place where decisions are made. Be a critical stakeholder. It's a new place where everybody is coming in. There's no one person that has more advantage than the other. It depends on the work that you're going to put in now. It depends on the work of your supporters coming in. So Mr. Peter Obi is out there. One thing I can tell you for sure is that if nobody can outpassion the supporters of Mr. Peter Obi. You see that passion? Passion is everything. Hausa people have a saying that that something that you put your head on, that you decide to do yourself, is even more than worship, because you go, they choke head, your coconut head on it. Primaries is open and there for everyone. Before you take part in that primaries, of course, you have to be a member of the political party. So let's join ADC. Let's go in there. This is not the time to think that nobody has ADC. ADC is out there. And I'm sure, ADC will tell you, ADC want to win. And they're going to put in the best candidate that will give them the win. And at this time, you know who the best candidate is.
Because of maturity, I will attempt to be subtle in this video. Otherwise, I'm very, very angry. I heard somebody, for purpose of maturity, I'm not going to refer to the person's name, who said and was asked on one of these national broadcasts, asking that, well, let me start this way. Peter Obi has moved to ADC, right? Okay. And as Obidients, we support it. But on the condition that he turns out to be the flag bearer. I believe I'm speaking the mind of every Obidient. On the belief that there's an arrangement that Peter Obi would be the flag bearer for 1 year, for a 1 year term. Now, but this person in question was asked a question and he said that, should Peter Obi lose the primaries, will the Obidients support Atiku? Obidients will not support Atiku. Obidients will not support Atiku. Let me be very blunt. Obidients will not support Atiku. And there are many reasons for it. Let me speak for myself here. First and foremost, even though we hate Tinubu, I don't like Tinubu. I've never liked it. I never will. I don't like the Tinubu administration. But, you see, we must attempt to slow down the political mentality or the political entitlement, self-entitlement of the core north. We must do that. I don't see a place where, if the situation were to be reversed, that a southerner did 8 years and power now shifted to the north. After 4 years, the southerners are now angling for power to go back to the south again. No northerner will believe, no northerner will accept that. No northerner will accept that. So power is in the south and should remain in the south. It's an unspoken arrangement, and anybody going against that arrangement does not love Nigeria. Does not love Nigeria. Peter Obi, on the other hand, should also know that it is not about him. It's about Nigeria and the people who want this country to change. He is just a figurehead, and if he chooses to go against that, he will be surprised that those who support him can as well change their mind overnight. It's like a forex. It's like the foreign exchange. 1 second, everything can go downwards. It will be an unstoppable avalanche, so much that the downward spiraling will be so calamitous, if I should put it that way. Now, the question is, what is the way forward for ADC? I want a situation whereby the northern electorate will begin to use this opportunity to prove that they too can also go outside their religious and self-entitlement, political self-entitlement proclivity, or enslavement, or comfort. They can go outside and support other people. I've always held Atiku to this word, to the word where he said northerners will not vote for non-northerners. I think he said it sometime in 2023. If Peter Obi chooses to deputize Atiku, I can assure you that that ticket will fail. No Obidient will support that ticket. It is rather than if Peter Obi loses in the primaries and doesn't become the flag bearer of ADC, he should just go to UK and forget about press. Just go and sit somewhere and don't be anything. Just go here, buy a popcorn and watch Nigeria from afar. You get me? I would rather vote for Tinubu. I will campaign for Tinubu, using this page to campaign for Tinubu, than for a Peter Obi to become vice. For what now? For what?
Remember, some weeks back, Atiku Abubakar declared for the ADC, and now we have, Peter Obi. Now, numbers don't lie. The two put together in the, last presidential elections in 2023 had about 62 to 63% of the total presidential votes. So you can, if you take that calculus and, put it on the table, you can literally say that the coming of Peter Obi into the ADC has put us in pole position, one leg already in the presidential villa. I am so excited. So are all members, and from the top to the bottom echelon of the ADC are excited by this moment, by this monumental leap into, into political party activity. And when you look at the optics in Enugu, who is who, like you did say in your opening remarks, in Eastern Nigerian politics, what's there? Senators led by Senator Inna Ebaribe, the former governor of Imo State, former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, and many others. I'm not going to do a roll call here. And so we are excited, we are upbeat, we are looking forward to a very, very keenly contested national and presidential elections. And we are going to, in the coming weeks, come up with a strategy to communicate to Nigerians, to articulate our own policies, manifestos, and the way forward. And then the last issue, Ayo, you raised, was the issue of, either the Obidients or, their followers saying that if you don't, if he doesn't get, Peter Obi does not get the presidential ticket, they wouldn't support the party. Now they should calm down. In politics, you don't join a political party with conditionalities and conditions or preconditions. You join as a member, you harvest your votes, you put your credibility, and you sell yourself to the voters, to the delegates. Eventually, the delegates will decide. The idea of somebody coming up to tell Nigerians, not only in ADC, in any political party, that if my presidential candidate should win or nothing, it's anti-democratic. And people, we in the media should not even encourage such conversation, because we want to see a Nigeria that grows into a strong, virile, and democratic nation where values, not sentiments, are obtained.
Okay, but there's no big deal about saying that somebody must come to a political party and pick up a ticket. In the last election, that was the agreement for Obi coming into the Labour Party, because they were going to give him presidential tickets. And we have seen people that come to a political party and they said they were going to give them a ticket. If my memory serves me right, Atiku came to the ACN in, I think, the 2007 elections, knowing that they were going to give him the tickets. There was no way he was going to come to the ACN as a vice president that's just been wrapping up his term and running an election if he was not going to be given the ticket. So that analysis is questionable in the first place. I've knocked that one out. That's the first argument knocked out. Secondly, you say people will come, they will canvass, they will get their vote, they will get their delegates. I mean, we all know this game is a game of money. We all know it's who that can buy delegates, that will get the delegates in the end. And people like Obi are saying that we don't want a situation where we come to buy delegates. And that's why a lot of people are already positing that the primaries might be the first albatross of the political party, the ADC. That's the second point. You might want to react to that. The third point, you say that you don't know about Nafiu Gombe. No, that's not true. I know about Nafiu Gombe. He's been talking since the first day that the ADC coupled itself together. And he's been making his own point. So he's saying that you're not aware that it exists. It does exist, and he's been making a great point. It's for you guys in the ADC to be able to react and bring him to the table. And it's not a big deal, you having factions. I remember when Peter Obi went to the Labour Party, there was a certain person that led a faction that we interviewed here a couple of times. And in fact, it was on the air, he said what he wanted, and I think they settled at the back. So Nafiu Gumbi has been existing for quite a while. Those 3 points, you might want to react to them.
First of all, Rufai, let me be very straightforward with you. You may have, the right to knock off a point that I say in the studio. You don't have the right to knock off these points in the court of public opinion. That is your own thinking. My thinking and the thinking out there with the public is what I said. And it's a debate, and I don't want it to be a debate between Laden and Rufai. So be it if it must be. But let me say this. I do not necessarily believe in the kind of scenario you paint about the defection of a candidate into any other party on preconditions or based on conditionalities or expectations. That, I repeat, is anti-democratic. And we in the media should not be wasting our times and, discussing issues like that. Let us look at the Constitution. Let us look on the issue of equity. You don't come into a party. Peter Obi said it, as much as he has defected into the ADC, he has said that, look, we will go let the best candidate win, and if he wins, he has the assurance that Atiku will support him. If Atiku wins, he has given his own word that he will support him. And nobody can sit down and make a caricature of that statement and reduce it to, something that, does not suit the narrative of the two men. And look, we are trying to make sure that the Nigerian democracy obtains within the platform of decency, within the platform of the best practices, not sentiments, not histories that have failed, but let us look forward and see, how do we come up with a structure? How do we deal with the issues that are contradicting and sometimes even subverting to the polity? How do we amalgamate? How do we congregate and come up with a solution that would address all these issues you have raised, Rufai?
Honorable, thank you so much for coming on the program. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Honorable, Happy New Year to you.
To Nigerians, and very tired, but I'm here. I just came back from home.
We apologize. It's for the interest of the nation. It's part of your national service to speak to the people on this issue, especially now that your party, the ADC, has gained significant, what you call political stature, given the caliber of persons who have made inroads into that political party. I was looking at the numbers from the 2023 presidential election and the way journalists and every other person who does analytics of candidates and their performance do. When you look at the election, APC won, followed by PDP at 6.9, APC 8.7, 6.9, PDP 6.1, Labour Party 1.4, so NNPP. Altogether, if you look at it in percentage, these four parties took about 96% of the entire vote. Every other political party, we should now say maybe about 16 others or 14 others, shared 4%. And ADC fell among those 4%. Some of the persons who are part of the big 96% now are now in your party. It looks like in 2027, your party is going to give perhaps the APC a run for their money. Doesn't that excite you, Honorable?
Well, thanks so much. The analysis you have just rolled out is not going to be the same in 2027. All those parameters that made all those things possible, all those factors are no longer there. I want to tell you, Peter Obi got that vote based on religion and tribal sentiment. People, especially the northern Christians, believed that they will be in trouble if Asuwaju comes in as president. They believed that they will not have room to exercise their faith. But it's not like that today. You can see, even from the last statement from Bishop Kuka, you know that there is a different belief, a different notion entirely from what they believe in 2023 general election and what is playing out now. The way President handled the whole thing, they know it's not a religious bigot, and he does not believe in extremism of any religion, either be a Christian or Islam. If anybody is capitalizing on what happened in 2023 and calculating that if they put Atiku vote and put Obi vote, they're going to beat APC, it's just like the person is building castle in the air. So, me, I still maintain my stand. The leadership of ADC today is in crisis. And until the court decides, nobody can say this is going to be the fate of ADC. To me, they are welcome. We welcome everyone that comes, but if you want to join properly. For example, with the Peter Obi that went to Enugu. Enugu is not his state. He's supposed to go to his ward and register from his ward. Then it can be recognized. But if you go to zonal office and you register as a politician, this kind of politics is a new system to me. I'm a grassroots politician, so I know how it plays out. If you don't register in your ward, you are not a member of the party. That's how it is. But they are welcome, and we'll see what is going to be the outcome of all these jamborees that is ongoing.
So besides your disagreement on how they are joining, I mean, whether they are registering at their ward and all of the leadership issues that you're talking about that is in court, you talked about. I know that, for instance, INEC recognizes the leadership of David Mark. I can see their name. I had to go check again. the Senator Mark, Ogbeni Ralph,
it was a mistake on the part of INEC to recognize them.
How was that a mistake?
Constitution properly. Okay, let me tell you how it was a mistake. You know, our constitution as it is was last amended in 2022. I have been in this party, I told you, since 2017. I have been a member of this party. I've never joined any political party. So the last amended constitution was done in 2022. And it's there that you cannot hold national office except you are 2 years in the party. And not only that, if any political party amended its constitution, it must domicile it. This is a constitutional matter now. It must domicile it in INEC within 30 days. This has not happened. There was nothing done to the constitution of the party. I always hear people saying the court has no jurisdiction in political matters. The court has not. Yes, court has nothing to do. If you follow your own law, your own constitution that is guiding you, court has nothing to do. But court has something to do when you go against your own law that you swore onto to guide you. That is where the problem is. And I have been saying in section 222D of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, stated that if you amend your constitution as a political party, you must domicile it within to INEC within 30 days, which nothing like that happened. So some people are claiming that section, Article 94 of our constitution, which says you must be 2 years for national office and 1 year for state office, party office, has been amended. They should go and check again. There is no amendment to that effect. What they are relying on was a meeting of March 27, 2025, where there was a meeting of NEC. I was there. We didn't discuss about constitutional amendment, and we cannot even amend the constitution. It has to be done at the National Convention. So in that meeting, we didn't discuss about constitutional amendment. And even though let us assuming without considering that it was done, it was not domiciled in INEC within 30 days. So cannot put something on nothing, it will definitely collapse.
So besides this legalese, so let's, for a hypothetical reason, let's just talk about where you stand on this. Let's say they are regularized and all of these arguments that you put forward, which are valid arguments, I'm sure you guys will sort it out in the places you're supposed to sort it out. Everything succeeds. Are you going to be supporting whoever emerges from the ADC in the 2027 election for president, at least?
Well, if everything works well, as it is today, our own side is the right side, according to the law. But let us even assume we agree. Well, we have already agreed in our own faction that we are going to support the candidacy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There's no going back about that. There's no going back.
Distinguished leaders of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, members of the National Working Committee, leaders of the Obidient movement and civil society organizations, party faithfuls, comrades, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPDEP, I warmly welcome you all to this historic and defining moment in our collective democratic journey. Today, with deep conviction and great optimism, we welcome His Excellency, the former governor of Anambra State, the Labour Party presidential candidate for 2023, Mr. Peter Obi, to the African Democratic Congress, ADC. The party that has consistently stood for integrity, inclusion, accountability, and people-centered governance, and a coalition himself, Mr. Peter Obi, advocated and campaigned for the past year, rallying and endorsing candidates of the ADC from the Anambra State elections right to the Federal Capital Territory. Mr. Peter Obi's entrance into the ADC is not merely a political movement. It is a statement of conscience. It is a declaration that Nigeria can no longer afford politics without principled leadership, without sacrifice, or governance without compassion. His long-standing reputation for prudence, transparency, fiscal responsibility resonates deeply with the aspirations of millions of Nigerians who yearn for a nation that works for all, and not just a privileged few. For Kopke, this moment represents the convergence of values. We are a coalition committed to the defense of democracy, the rule of law, social justice, zero tolerance for corruption, and the protection of the people's mandate. In Mr. Peter Obi, we recognize a partner who shares these ideas and who has consistently spoken truth hour, even when it was inconvenient or costly, which is like that also the case. Kopek is hereby assuring you, Your Excellency, sir, that you are not alone in the ADC. The over 5 million members of COPDEM are already looking forward to this great event. Now, don't just take my word for it, His Excellency and our viewers. Go and verify www.copden.org and you will verify these numbers. Now, these 5 million and growing members remain your trusted allies in this journey. Also, the over 20,000 COPDEM members that are members, card-carrying members of the ADC will walk with you through thick and thin of this adventure. We remain resolute in our candidacy through you, and that the indefatigable human pillar of the new Nigeria that is possible. The ADC as a platform has opened its doors not just to a person, but to a movement of hope. A movement driven by young people, workers, professionals, entrepreneurs, and the marginalized in our society who believe that competence, character, and capacity must define leadership in Nigeria henceforth. Sir, your decision to align with the ADC strengthens the resolve of Democrats across this country. It sends a powerful message that a new political culture has indeed emerged. One built on service to humanity and not to self. One that is solution-driven and not by slogans and political hypes. One built on a unity of purpose and not division or deviation. As COPDEM, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to support the ADC in our culture, which has been mobilized. So in mobilization, civic engagement, voter education, and the defense of democratic values at all levels. We believe that together, through strategic collaboration and principled leadership, we can and shall reclaim Nigeria's lost glory and future from despair and redirect it towards hope, productivity, and our shared prosperity. Mr. Peter Obi, you are welcome not just to a party, but to a family of progressives, reformers, and patriots determined to build a just and democratic Nigeria. Once again, welcome to the African Democratic Congress, a coalition that you nurtured and built alongside fellow compatriots. Welcome to the actualization of a better Nigeria. Welcome to history in the making. Now, finally, to fellow Nigerians at home and abroad, are you pained by the current state of our country, our one and only beloved country, Nigeria, today? If Nigeria is truly the only country you call home, then you do not have the luxury of praying, wishing, sitting, and watching without doing anything. Whenever there is an earthquake, you do not spread your legs on opposite sides of the crack and pray and hope that all ends well without doing anything. The democratic earthquake that determines Nigeria's destiny has just begun. And you don't have the luxury of just keeping quiet or standing on the line. Make your choice. Go to www.copedem.org, register, be part of the struggle, join COPDEM, join ADC. Look, join if not for yourself, but for the future, and let us save Nigeria together. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So the question is, who is with Mr. Peter Obi on this journey? Who's on his side? We've seen the governor of Abia State saying, well, I'm fine right here. I'm not moving, right? And I mean, that would have been a major political heavyweight coming with him into the ADC. But no, the governor says, I'm not going. When he joined the Labour Party 2022, you could see the overwhelming support from a lot of Nigerians, both online and offline. People changing their social media display pictures to the Labour Party's logo, putting it up, saying, you know what, I'm for this. But this time around, it's not been the same. In fact, his vice, Dati Baba Ahmed, perhaps you can speak to that as well. So the question is, who is with Mr. Peter Obi in this defection? Who is on his side? I'd like you to name that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kayode. Do you remember that prior to the 2023 general election, was Peter Obi having anybody by his side? Obviously, no. What he was having is, the way they say, is only 4 people that were going around in the corner of their room mobilizing. Yet it produces the vice president that you just mentioned, Madam Deti Baba Ahmed. It produces Alex Oti that you are just talking about, who became the governor of Abia State. It produces many members of the Federal House of Representatives, senators. That is one man that does not have anything. So you can imagine what will happen next. All those pictures that you are seeing, wait in the next few days. You will see the same kind of mobilization. So we are not perturbed, but we know also, in spirit and mind, they are with us. Yesterday, interestingly, at that hall in Nikki Lake, you saw former governors that were not with Peter Obi at all before. They were all there. There were about 67 and hundreds of members of Federal House of Representatives, members who were part of other political parties who defected right there and then, or rather took up the mantle of leadership of joining the ADC. This was done only yesterday at that particular Nikki Lake hotel. And at the same time, it is important for me to raise this. He is the only presidential candidate that came up with a lot of teeming support of people who came in to join him. That speaks in volume. So if you like, you can undermine that particular strength of collective interest and watch in the next few days. So Peter Obi is a mobilizer of men of integrity, people who believe that they need to change the narrative, and they believe that this is the time, better organized, ready to move. The Obidient movement have declared long before now that anywhere Mr. Peter Obi is going, we will go with him. So Kayode, don't be perturbed. Be more hopeful that I can tell you that the mobilization and the movement that you will see will be different from what you saw in 2023. And for those who have left, I can assure you, quite a number of them have seen that the train is now moving with a headlong supersonic speed. So if you don't join, we know when you join us. Well, and then I'm asking everybody to please come on board. Right. We need to rescue Nigeria, and Mr. Peter Obi is at the saddle of leadership.